Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're going to be giving you guys our first impressions of Dimmu Borgir's brand new album, Eonian. So there's been so much hype for this album, not only from the band themselves, but from the community, because this is their first album in so long. Abrahadabra was their last release, and it came out in 2010.
Way too long.
So it's been a long time, and I've seen so much hype up, once again, from the band, saying, you know, first release in so long, all these videos, but the making of the album, what the songs mean, etc., blah, 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 and there's all this big stuff. They released 2 singles, Interdimensional Summit and Council of Wolves and Snakes. We reacted to both the videos for those, so check those out if you guys are interested. And I am really excited to hear this album, but if I want to go by the singles, then I'm a little bit on the fence, because Interdimensional Summit didn't really feel like a quote-unquote true Dimmu Borgir song.
Yeah.
It felt like they were really trying to appeal to people that are not into the genre of symphonic black metal, and that's okay, but for a fan, you know, such as myself and yourself, it's kind of not exactly what we were looking for. Now, Council of Wolves and Snakes was a song that was very different because it had a lot more symphonic structure than most Dimmu Borgir songs, but the breakdown partway through is exactly what, you know, fans like us were specifically looking for. So with the fact that they were still able to incorporate that into the singles, I'm hyped to see what else is coming for us.
Yeah, same here. I found both those singles to be very experimental for the band, but in different ways. And I'm sorry, forgive me for my voice, I got a little bit of a bug, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from reviewing what's probably the biggest metal release of the year so far. So we're both hyped for this. We're gonna go listen to the album for the first time in its entirety, from front to end, and we'll be back to give you guys our first impressions of Eonian in just a second.
Hey guys, we're back. We just listened to Eonian for the first time in its entirety. My throat feels a tiny little bit better. I had some medicine, so I sound a little better than the first part of the video. I'm gonna take the floor here. I'm going to talk about pretty much the song that I gravitated towards the most, the one I picked as my highest rated, and that's Archaic Correspondence. I just felt like out of all the tracks on this album, this one had that core, classic Dimmu Borgir sound that I craved and I loved. It had sick rhythms, dark melodies, there's a good balance of choir and orchestra in there. It wasn't too overdone or overrepresented or in your face like a couple of the other songs. I felt like it was a little too forced for my personal liking. I know other people do like that, but as far as the overall package, that song definitely hit the mark the most as far as what I'm looking for in the band. The rest of the album was enjoyable, but I'll admit, on a first impression, I'm a little bit on the disappointed side. I mean, it's not bad, but it's very experimental, it sounds like. It sounds like they're definitely taking steps out of their comfort zone in all different directions and trying different things in a lot of different songs. Like, for example, track number 7, I Am Sovereign, there's a very odd groove in that song, and the background melody almost sounds like something you hear out of a Bollywood film or a Bollywood style song. That's what I got from it anyway, and that's very odd to hear from a Norwegian black metal band, in my opinion. It didn't, I mean, there's some decent parts of those songs, and these songs change up a lot, but to throw that in there, it's very, like, at first very off-putting. But again, this is a first impressions. Maybe after multiple listens it might grow on me, I'm not sure, but you know what? Take the floor, let's hear what you think about this.
Alright, so this album left me just like not, you know, super excited but not super disappointed, because this album was very up and down for me. In terms of favorite song, I share same opinions as you on Archaic Correspondence. That song's crazy, it's got so much condensed rhythms, it's just really in your face and raw. The song started, I'm like, okay, this is old Dimmu Borgir. Like, we went back to puritanic euphoric misanthropia. Like that's definitely the vibe I got, and I loved that. The other song I also really liked was the Empyrean Phoenix. The intro was great, it was a groove that I enjoyed, and the biggest thing I noticed about this song that I feel some of the songs lack is a sinister identity. Dimmu Borgir's music is very quote-unquote evil, brooding, very dark. I mean, Dimmu Borgir literally translates to like dark castle. So it's kind of in the identity for that. And some of the songs don't exactly have that. Like, Aetheric felt kind of weird. The main groove they kept going towards felt very country-esque to me, and I was like, what is this?
That was very odd.
It's not bad, it was catchy, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. It was weird to listen to when I was listening to it for the first time.
The build-up intro was really cool though. It builds up with some cool beats and stuff like that, then it gets into a blast beat. I'm like, okay, yes, here we go. Then like you said, all of a sudden it switches and it's got, trust me, it's like a country riff. And I mean, it still sounds like metal, and I was actually kind of grooving to it. Like, this isn't actually bad, but it sounds like something you hear in a country song. Like, very weird. It also sounds a bit too playful.
Yeah.
Right? You mentioned that the band usually comes across as like brooding. That's a very good word. This is the opposite for me. This sounds way too playful, way too light, spirited, and that's also a vibe I'm not really looking for when I listen to this band.
Yeah, and another thing, in terms of the identity of brooding and being sinister, Council of Wolves and Snakes, I found that song, as so many people call it experimental, I didn't really feel that it was experimental when I listened to it. It just felt like straight up Dimmu Borgir doing what they do, and it didn't feel like, oh, this is something different, but I like it. It just feels like totally in their vein. Like, it feels great. Like, that song is a lot better than when I heard it the first time, even though when I did hear it the first time when the music video came out, I still enjoyed it.
I think as a single, when you listen to it, it gives you a different impression. Rather than listening to it on the whole album, it definitely feels like not a void, but it definitely just like fits in the album as an entire entity a lot better than standing out on its own as a single.
Yeah,
fine.
And you said that, this album seems very experimental. I agree with that. I feel this album, this band really tried to do whatever they felt like, and it's not like they conform to like, okay, everyone's been expecting us to do something for like 8 years, so we gotta do this, put this out, they'll enjoy it. They just said, you know what, let's do what we want to do.
Right.
And I feel there are some songs where the symphony and the choir, as you said, is a little bit forced, and I feel like there's a little bit too much focus. The mix kind of bothers me in some songs where the choir would be louder than everything else, which it's okay if you want to put a focus on that, but it's like, there's a point, I forgot what song it was, where the drums were playing, and you hear a choir, and the choir's just completely overpowering the drums. I could barely hear the drums. It's like, why is that even there?
Yeah, but the drums was cool. Like a super fast double bass roll.
It was nice, but you could barely hear it.
It felt subtle, yeah.
It was too subtle for me, but I understand they wanted to put a focus on the symphony and the choir there, and that's okay.
How'd you feel about the last song, track number 10, Rite of Passage, which is about just under 6 minutes long and instrumental?
I like that a lot. It's instrumental. I really like the looseness of the feel. It feels very loose, open-ended. The tempo is way down from typical Dimmu Borgir, and it's a great ending track. This is a perfect final track. After everything's settled, you have something very open for you to relax with.
Yeah, I feel like they did it right in that aspect. A lot of bands will take their instrumental track and throw it in the middle of the album somewhere, and we always say that'd be better as the ending track, the closing track, the kind of swan song to finish off, close the album up. So I think they did a good job, but as far as the song itself, I don't think it's one that I'm going to be gravitating towards at all or going back to, but you never know. With the test of time, after multiple listens, I'm hoping that I start, really starting to appreciate more of these songs, because as of right now, there's only like 2 or 3 that I'm kind of like pumped about, and that's a little disappointing for me. I was hoping more like 8 or 9 songs would have me like thrilled.
Yeah, I'm feeling more so. I guess half the album is having me excited to listen to over the week, and the other half doesn't really feel like it's something I'm looking forward to. But you never know. With the test of time, after 1 week, we're going to be listening to this album in its entirety, and it could definitely grow on us, because our review is going to be coming out next week after we listen to it. Guess that's it for this video, guys. Remember to like if you liked it, comment, tell us what you thought of this album. What were your first impressions? What do you think of it compared to other Dimmu Borgir albums like Abrahadabra, etc.? And subscribe if you'd like to see more, because we got tons of metal content coming to you very soon. I'm TV Fish.
And I have bronchitis.
And we'll see you guys later.
Later.